Good evening and welcome. Tonight we are going to be flipping through this book about Azerbaijan, and we're going to read all the little boxes. Now, I've already flipped through the updated version of this book. I remember I'll leave the link right up there in the corner. So this book is much older. I've moved states. The library system doesn't have updated books. This book is from 2006. A lot has happened in Azerbaijan since 2006, most of it in the city of Baku, but most of this book is not about the city of Baku. It's mostly still very accurate. Like, this is Baku in 2006, apparently. But most of Azerbaijan is this, which is pretty timeless. Just beautiful mountains and gorgeous rivers and beautiful valleys. We have a guy herding his little flock of sheepies there. And let's read about the largest inland sea. The seahorse-shaped Caspian Sea was once part of a single world ocean. It was connected into the great body of water by the Sea of Azov. I think that's supposed to be the Sea of Azov. I'm not sure. The Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. The rising landforms of Asia and Europe slowly and eventually isolated the saltwater Caspian in a large hollow that is more than 90 feet below sea level. The Caspian sprawls over an area measuring nearly 750 miles from north to south, with an average width of 200 miles. Its total area, approximately 143,000 square miles, makes it slightly larger than Japan. The depth of the sea varies greatly, from 12 to 20 feet in the north to a maximum depth of 3,360 feet. There's also wide variation in the water's salinity or salt content. In the cooler north, where great Russian freshwater rivers such as the Volga and Vistula flow into the Caspian Sea, the salt content is only about 0.1%. In the subtropical south, where evaporation occurs at a much faster rate, the salinity level is more than 30%. The ancient Romans named the sea after the Caspi, a nomadic people who moved around its western shore. And it was the Romans who made the initial discovery of the process that turns the eggs produced by the sturgeon into the salty delicacy known as caviar. As the sturgeon population declined in the late 20th century, all sorts of substitutes have been tried for their prized roe, but so far nothing comes close to the real thing. Here's more of the dry, hot areas of Azerbaijan. Beautiful trees here and some sweet bison, the little baby there. Let's read about Nakhchivan, an isolated province. Nakhchivan is a small wedge of mountainous territory located between Armenia and Iran. The determination of the territory's people and the support of Baku have kept it part of Azerbaijan since the breakup of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. According to legend, this tiny region was founded before 1500 BCE by Noah. It prospered under Persian rule in the Middle Ages, then was taken over by Russia in 1828 and became part of the Soviet Union. In January 1990, the Soviet Union began to crumble. Nakhchivan became the first part of the former Soviet Union to declare its independence. Within a few months, however, the people voted to become part of Azerbaijan. The rocky mountainsides here offer breathtaking views of Iran, Armenia, and Nagorno-Karabakh. Valleys are speckled with orchards that produce apricots, pears, and peaches. But the fertile orchards and beautiful scenery are not enough for the province to overcome its isolation. Unemployment is at times as high as 50%, and there are long lines for immigration permits. Nakhchivan's future remains highly uncertain. And look, a bunch of flamingos. Kind of lighten the mood. Some very beautiful, kind of like Turkish style ancient artwork here. It's so pretty, I think. And a very old map. Let's see, it's a 16th century map of the Russian Empire. So like, if this is the Caspian, then Azerbaijan's like here. But a neat map nonetheless. Here's some really cool old cave art. That's awesome. And this is an Armenian church service. We've got some cool art here of some Mongols fighting it out, it looks like. And here's a gusher, some oil. Let's read about the mystery of the reed boats. Many of the Azerbaijan petroglyphs portray the daily life of the people inhabiting the shore of the Caspian Sea several thousand years ago. Some of the cave art shows reed boats, a fact that lured the famous Norwegian ethnologist Tor Heyerdahl to the caves in 1989 and again in 1994. Heyerdahl had gained fame previously for his theories connecting ancient reed boats found in Egypt, Peru, and Polynesia. You can see here he's definitely in Egypt, right? He is not in Azerbaijan. I think it's Heyerdahl, actually. In Azerbaijan, Heyerdahl was thrilled to find that the boats depicted in caves near Kobustan were strikingly similar to reed boat petroglyphs found in Norway. On the basis of these discoveries and other information, Heyerdahl theorized that the people of Scandinavia came originally from the coast of the Caspian Sea. While the theory is intriguing, it is not widely accepted, and many scientists are waiting until more supporting evidence is found. Over the centuries, the forces of history have divided Azerbaijan into northern and southern halves. The roots of this division go back to the 4th century BCE, when two kingdoms were formed: Caucasian Albania, which has no connection to the Balkan state of Albania in Europe, in the north, and the kingdom of Atropatene in the south. I've never heard that name. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not. By about 200 CE, Caucasian Albania's boundaries matched those of the modern Republic of Azerbaijan. It had become a powerful kingdom with several thriving cities. Atropatene, the southern part of Azerbaijan, became part of the Persian Empire and today remains within the boundaries of modern Iran. See, this is the Baku Congress of 1920. Very tense time there. Trying to figure things out before the Soviet Union came in. There's a very contemplative soldier. These are Nazi soldiers here, looking like they need to build a bridge or something. And a very Soviet-looking photograph here, isn't it? And there's another contemplative soldier. Let's read about the war for Nagorno-Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh is a tiny patch of land within the borders of Azerbaijan. It is a place of rugged beauty, heavily forested mountains, steep-sided valleys, and picturesque farms and pastures. In 1989, the largely Armenian population voted for independence from Azerbaijan. For the next 5 years, Nagorno-Karabakh was the scene of bitter warfare as the outnumbered Karabakhists tried to withstand constant bombardment by Azeri and Russian forces. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the war changed dramatically. Armenian troops aided the Karabakhist commandos and forced the Azerbaijani army to retreat. An estimated 500,000 Azerbaijani Muslims were forced to flee. Since the ceasefire was established in 1994, Nagorno-Karabakh has struggled to rebuild, but the task seems overwhelming. Roughly 30,000 citizens were killed in the war, and in addition to widespread damage, the country is laced with hundreds of thousands of landmines. International organizations have tried to negotiate a permanent settlement, and the United States sponsored talks in Key West, Florida in 2001. So far, no solution has been found that satisfies both Azerbaijan and Armenia, which for the most part is still true today, right? Here's Haydar Aliyev with a bunch of cookies or something there. He looks very excited to have some snacks, which, yeah, usually when you see pictures of Haydar Aliyev, it looks like this. This guy is just like, yeah, same old, same old. This is Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States in 1919, I guess. Here it talks about he was complimenting the distinguished group of gentlemen from Azerbaijan. Tearing down some old Soviet art here. And there's Haydar Aliyev yet again. I was about to describe what was going on with him, but here's a box about it, so let's read this. The Aliyev Dynasty. Haydar Aliyev first rose to power in the Azerbaijani Communist Party, then became part of the Soviet KGB, a post in which he revealed his ruthless side during the 1960s. He became the first Azerbaijani to become a member of the Politburo, the supreme body of the Soviet Union. In the spirit of greater freedom that followed the end of the Cold War, Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev had him removed following charges of corruption. For a few years, Aliyev almost disappeared, but the instability that developed early in the Nagorno-Karabakh War gave him a new opportunity. He reinvented himself as a strong leader committed to developing Azerbaijan's oil wealth. From 1993 onwards, Aliyev ruled the republic with an iron hand. Opponents could not prevent him from grooming his son Ilham as his successor. Although Ilham had the reputation of being a playboy and a gambler, he became vice chairman of the state oil company, as well as the country's representative to the Council of Europe and president of the Azerbaijani Olympic Committee. But the younger Aliyev is also well educated. He has a doctorate in history and has been very successful in business. His popularity and power could help Azerbaijan achieve prosperity, stability, and even greater democracy. I mean, that's true. It could help Azerbaijan. Oh, good to see. There he is right here behind his father who passed away in, it says right here, in 2003. There's an oil drilling station there on the Caspian Sea. And let's see, some old Soviet oil extraction sites. It's fallen into disrepair. Working on the big pipeline here. Let's read about the origins of the Nobel Prize. One of the early investors in the Baku oil fields in the 1890s was Alfred Nobel, the Swedish-born inventor of dynamite and other explosives. Nobel used the fortune he accepted from these investments to establish the Nobel Prizes, the world's highest honors given in specific areas of the social and natural sciences, as well as for literature and the promotion of peace. How interesting. So if it wasn't for Azerbaijan's oil fields, we might not have the Nobel Prize. Getting some hay there, and look at this is caviar. That's so much caviar. My goodness. Big factory here producing something. Probably petroleum, right? And Baku Harbor as it looked back in the early 2000s, right? Much bigger and more advanced now. Petrochemical plant. Looks like dumping some bad things into the water and blowing some bad things into the air. Not great. That's what happens. Get some oily water, not good for anybody. And don't touch. A sign from the last operational chlorine plant. Wow. Nope, it looks like they are harvesting wheat. I was about to say it looks like a landmine going off there, but you can see their like hose and things there, and boom. And here it looks like they're planting trees. Yes, they are actually. Launched an ambitious reforestation campaign. Replanting some trees. So this poor little sweet bear looks like it's being, it was poached. That's really sad. Hope bear is okay. Let's read about Caspian Sea sturgeon. There are a number of subspecies of sturgeon located throughout the northern hemisphere, including several in the Caspian Sea. They range greatly in size, with many species less than 24 inches long and others more than 10 feet long and weighing 500 pounds. 3 or 4 subspecies of Caspian sturgeon, especially beluga, are prized for their black or gray roe, which is used for caviar. If you don't know, roe is fish eggs. Adding just the right amount of salt and finding the exact temperature for storing the roe without freezing it are essential for preparing the delicacy. There have been many caviar imitations. The red roe of salmon is sold as red caviar, and often the roe of white fish has been dyed black with the ink of cuttlefish. But true caviar experts are never fooled. Here's a charming face here. Some more cool dudes here wearing traditional hats. And the Shah's Palace, I assume, the Khan of Baku. Yeah, very famous sites like that throughout Azerbaijan. Here's another group of dudes here. It says they're Dagestani. Beautiful mountain valley here. And let's see, they're weaving. It says they're Kurdish. Looking at all the different ethnic groups in Azerbaijan. Here's Saladin, one of the heroes of the Crusades, at least on the Muslim side, right? That's Colin Powell from way back in the day, hanging out with Haydar Aliyev, talking some kind of important international business. What says, and that's the president of Armenia, doing some peace talks. It looks like Colin Powell's negotiating that. Some more dudes here. Armenian militiamen. They look kind of cold. They look very bundled up. Anyway, this guy's getting his beard shaved. And this is what Baku looked like before it became very modern, before it had its big makeover. Some fashionable people here. And beautiful mosque. Let's see. Oh no, it's the Palace of the Shirvan Shahs. That's what it is. That's what I thought the other picture was going to be of. I said the Shahs. It was this. A very, very beloved ancient landmark. And UNESCO World Heritage Site. What is this? This is in Kancha, it says. I'm not sure what the flags looks like. They're in Arabic, so I cannot read Arabic. And a very abandoned looking place here. Factory. And some more people just hanging out. It looks like people in Azerbaijan, at least in 2006, really just liked hanging out. It's not a bad thing. Let's read about Azerbaijan's long lifers. The mountain air, the varied climate, and a diet of fruit, vegetables, and milk products have enabled Azeris and Armenians to live unusually long lives. Just after World War II, Soviet sociologists and demographers began reporting that surprising numbers of people in Transcaucasia were living past 100, especially in Azerbaijan, where they estimated that 44 of every 100,000 people lived past 100. In the 1950s, the Soviet newspaper Pravda began publishing photos of Dolgozhbiteli. Let me see, hold on. Dolgozhbiteli, long lifers, celebrating their 140th, 150th, or even 160th birthdays. Yeah, that's not true. Some scientists, including a few Americans, were skeptical. I wonder why. Others believed the reports. One researcher, Dr. Alexander Leaf of Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, was so impressed by what he saw during a visit that he wrote a book, Youth and Old Age, confirming the claims of longevity. But then Dr. Leaf noticed an obituary picture of one individual, followed in succeeding years by these same photos and articles congratulating him on his 168th birthday, then his 169th and 170th. I was gullible, Dr. Leaf admitted. Yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, The overblown reports and claims have blurred the truth. Most researchers agree that the hardy lifestyle of mountain Azeris and Armenians does enable them to remain robust at least into their 80s and 90s, and it is quite likely that some individuals do live past 100 or 110, but scientists warn that the reports of long lifers celebrating birthdays of 130 or beyond are not to be believed. Some good old Soviet propaganda there, isn't it? There's a family there. And it says this guy is quizzing a student. That's the worst when you're at the chalkboard, right? Time for prayer here. And here's a little old church here. And she's reading a very tiny Quran. That's a small Quran, a pocket-sized Quran. The Imam Hussein Mosque in Baku. And let's see. A sacred site before Islam arrived. It says it's Besh Barmakdagh. Look at this art. Zoroastrians, it says. Very, very old religion. You can tell it's Zoroastrians because they worshipped fire. It reminds me, if you've seen Game of Thrones, like the, what was it? Like the Red Witch and all of that. I think they borrowed a lot from Zoroastrianism. The fire at the Atagash temple's never been extinguished. Yeah, they took their fire seriously, the Zoroastrians. Let's read about the unusual legacy of Zoroaster. Here's with the fire. Zoroaster was a priest in Persia in the 6th century BCE. Not much is known about him or his life, but he had a powerful effect on history. He lived in a time when most religions were polytheistic, that is, people believed in many different gods. Zoroaster worked out a complex philosophy and religion based instead on monotheism, the belief in one God. He also developed the concept of dualism in religion, the belief that the universe is controlled by two forces, good and evil. This belief system influenced the development of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Zoroaster is also said to have been one of the originators of astrology, the practice of reading cosmic signs as a way of predicting future events, and is believed to have had a hand in developing the field of magic. He also influenced classical civilization in ancient Greece. The Greeks considered him a skilled healer, craftsman, and agriculturist, as well as an esteemed philosopher, mathematician, astrologer, and magician. The Zoroastrian faith became the main religion of Persia, which is present-day Iran, until the emergence of Islam in the 7th century CE. Muslim persecution soon forced followers of the religion to flee. The largest numbers migrated to India, where in the Mumbai, formerly Bombay region, they developed into a well-educated, wealthy community known as the Parsis. Gradually, after 1800, small groups of Zoroastrians began to move back to Iran, while some, moving farther north into Azerbaijan, found the keepers of the temple flames still at their posts in the Atishgah fire temple on the Absheron Peninsula. The remnants of Zoroastrianism that exist today are just one example of the mysterious mixing of folk beliefs and ancient religions found throughout Azerbaijan. And there are some Azerbaijani Jews here. A religious school, apparently. Another very, it looks like an old church, but it says it's 19th century, so not old, but still pretty old, right? There's a good example of the script they use in Azerbaijan. You can see right there, Azerbaijan. They don't look very happy reading something there. Looks like they're shopping. That's pretty cool. There's a Baskin Robbins right there. That's awesome. That's like some of my favorite ice cream. And let's see, Baku's Institute of Manuscripts. Yeah, these are beautiful looking books there. I'm not going to try to embarrass myself by reading these books about these boxes about the Azeri language. No, thank you. Not today, anyway. Look at this gorgeous door. This is in the Friday Mosque in Baku. Wow, very cool. Doing some art here, painting these old sites. And what a beautiful building. The Nizami Museum of Literature in Baku. That's awesome. Museum of Literature. And this is Nizami, the most revered literary figure in Azerbaijan, it says. Very nice statue. Cosmic Wisdom. The satiric journal Mullah Nasruddin was named after the most popular comic figure in Western Asia and the Middle East. The character of Mullah Nasruddin dates back to the Middle Ages and survives today in various literary guises, as well as in comic strips and popular jokes. Nasruddin typifies the wise fool, a figure who seems silly and clown-like, but whose words always contain wisdom or a special logic. Here's a typical Nasruddin story. Mullah Nasruddin has lost his keys, and a friend found him on the floor searching for the keys. "Do you know where you lost them?" the friend asked. "Oh yes," the mullah answered, "outside in the yard." "Well, why are you looking here in the house?" "Because the light's much better in here." Haha, very, very funny. Let's see. Library, the Palace of Culture in Baku. This looks like a really old photograph. Older than all of these, right? These got a saz here, big instrument. The big drum these things have. My goodness, they must sound incredible. And here the band's all together playing traditional music. And some traditional dance and traditional clothes. Very, very beautiful, isn't it? That's gorgeous. And we've got some big old, it says vessels here. Yeah, like, not pots, because you pour them. I guess like, yeah, vessels, I suppose. The Maiden's Tower in Baku, another very, very historical site there, the capital city. The Palace of the Khans in Sheki. Very cool. Very intricate buildings, right? Lots of beautiful designs in it. Oh wow, it's a big photo there. Very contemplative. I think she's at a museum. Interesting. And here they're playing some games. Looks like backgammon. Oh my. What a very Azerbaijani photograph. You've got a dude who's almost naked on the beach with the oil rig behind him. And out hiking in the beautiful, beautiful scenery. What is this? Oh, it's a hot spring. Very cool. Yeah, a lot of activity happening under the surface of Azerbaijan. Chess Grandmaster Garry Kasparov, one of the greatest chess players of all time. Let's see, it's called Nard in Azerbaijan. It looks like backgammon. Yeah, it says Nard is the oldest board game in existence. That's cool. I was about to say, like, I think backgammon is like the oldest board game ever, but apparently it's Nard, which it's probably like the same difference, right? We've got some famous wrestlers here, Greco-Roman wrestling. Very, very contact style of wrestling. And is this it also? It says this is goulash, which is similar to Greco-Roman wrestling. It looks a lot like Greco-Roman wrestling. Look at these. They've got like a backup band playing instruments. That's pretty cool. And they're ready to play some soccer. A very contemplative young man there. And cool. Let's see. What is this? Oh, it's a political rally. I was about to say, is this like a sport thing? But it's a political rally. What's she up to? It says it's a Shiite Muslim resting in a mosque after a ritual march mourning the death of Hussein ibn Ali. Oh, it's a Shura. Okay. They could have just said it's a Shura. It's a Shiite holiday. It's like a mourning holiday. So she looks very serious. And there's a Nowruz celebration, which is pretty much like traditional New Year's, but it's on the spring equinox. And having a Ramadan feast there. This poor kid's caught in the grasp of his auntie, maybe. You know how it is at family events. And this is the day that Azerbaijan declared independence from the Soviet Union. And this is at the Caspian Oil and Gas Show. Pretty cool, like a big convention. Market day, here to buy some little spices and things. What's this guy making? Kebabs. Oh, he's not making it, he's the waiter. It says, yum yum, you just get to pick your kebab. Look at these. So these are dolma, which is, it's like meat wrapped up in, like, what kind of leaves is it? What does it say? Grape leaves, that's it. With some yummy dip there. There's some more kebabs. Melons for sale. And what is this? Harvesting wheat in 1947. And they're eating out at McDonald's. Like all the spectrum of food here. And some bread here. This guy's the baker. And having a nice meal. Got a lot of bread there. Looks like they're putting some kind of spread on it. There's a recipe here for lamb kebabs. And lots more recipes. Rice. Oh, it shook my stomach just now. This looks good. Rice pilaf with fruit and nuts. That looks really yummy. And what is this? Lamb with dried fruits and walnuts. Now that's a combination, isn't it? Salad with smoked salmon and rose petal drink. Ooh, I bet that's kind of tasty. There's a map there of Azerbaijan. You can see there's Baku. That's Nakhchivan. So on and so forth. And here's the weird world map here. And boop, that's where it's located. Can you see? Alright, and that is the end of this book. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still awake right now, go ahead and throw a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing because I do videos like this all the time. I hope you found this video relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a very, very good night.